Today we're making a copycat recipe for Dunkin' Donuts. Now I did make this gluten-free, so the donuts did not rise as much as the Dunkin' Donuts would have, but they are still very.
Preheat your oven to 200 degrees.
And then put a pot of water to boil on your stove. Take 3/4 of a cup of milk and warm it up in the microwave. Add 2½ tablespoons of butter to the milk. And you also want to add 2 tablespoons of lukewarm water, about 105 to 110 degrees. You want to stir that up until the butter melts completely. Get your mixer ready. I'm going to start off with the paddle attachment, but I'm going to change it to the dough hook a little bit later. Start off with a cup of flour, and I'm using Bloomfield Farms gluten-free all-purpose baking mix. And to that, I'm going to add 2¼ teaspoons of active yeast and 1/3 of a cup of granulated sugar. Slowly add the milk, butter, and water mixture to the flour. Add an egg. And blend it for 3 minutes. Alright, now I'm going to switch over to my dough hook. Okay, now to this mixture I'm going to add another 1 3/4 cup of flour. I ran out of the Bloomfield Farms baking mix that already has the xanthan gum, so I added some xanthan gum to that. There's a conversion chart online. I'll put the link to it below that tells you how much to add per cup of flour. And I also added a teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to whisk this together and then add it to my mixture. Okay, you'll see that it forms one big dough ball. It's all together and very soft, but not really sticky. That's exactly how you want it. Okay, revisit your boiling water. Pour it in a oven-safe dish. Pop it in the oven and then turn your oven off. And take your dough, put a cover on it, and pop it in the oven and just let it rise. Take 1/3 of a cup of butter and melt it in a pan. Add 1/3 of a cup of hot water. Add a teaspoon of honey and a teaspoon of vanilla. You can't really see it because it's already starting to combine. And 2 cups of confectioners sugar, and you just want to whisk all that together till it's combined. At this point my stove is not on anymore, it's off. I only had it on to melt the butter a little bit and then I turned it off. That's it. This is really easy. The donuts are ready to be dunked in here and just set out to dry. Now I'm going to get my mat ready to roll out my dough, and you don't have to use the mat, but I love the mat. I use it for just about everything. Alright, so this is the mat. You've seen it in my videos before. It's basically 2 sheets and it's got measurements on it and everything, and you put your, this is really for fondant, you put the fondant in between and roll it out. Because I'm working with dough and it's a little sticky, I'm actually going to flour it, but usually I don't put anything in there. It's been about 15 minutes, so I'm going to pull my dough out of the oven. It's just about doubled in size, and you know it's ready when you stick your finger in it and it doesn't come back up. Working some of that flour into it, and I'm just going to roll this out. Now you want to roll this out to 1/2 inch thick. For me, that turned out to be about a 13-inch in diameter circle, and I'm going to now cut out my donuts. Cut out your donuts and the holes, and then with the scraps repeat the process until you are out of dough. I was able to get exactly 16 donuts and 16 holes out of this recipe. Now you just want to let them rise for 15 minutes. While your donuts are rising, you want to set your oil to heat up to about 350 degrees. And then you want to fry them for a minute on each side, or if you have one of these little basket things, I'm going to just go for a total of 1 minute. When you're done frying them, put them on a paper towel to cool and drain the excess oil. To glaze the donuts, completely submerge them in the glaze and then pull them out so that the glaze can harden. To switch it up a bit, you can add a piece of almond bark chocolate to your glaze and make it chocolate glaze. And repeat the same process as the vanilla glaze, just submerge your donuts and then pull them out so that it hardens. And that's how you make the donuts. So I showed you how to dunk the vanilla and the chocolate glaze. To make the powder, you just shake them in a bag of powdered sugar. I made 16 donuts in this recipe and 16 donut holes, but you see that 10 of them are already gone. I hope you like this recipe and that you give it a try.